With all of the cool things that are happening on the web, it's easy to overlook really the key feature that made the web what it is today. And that's the simple little link, right? I mean, the very essence of the web is that you have documents that are interrelated to each other. And if you go to one page, you find links to more information based on what you're reading. And that's what really revolutionized everything before because it just made everything so easy to get to the information. And that was essentially Tim Berners-Lee's vision when he first created the World Wide Web. So in this video, that's exactly what we're going to discuss. The HTML tag that defines an anchor. And an anchor is what these are referred to, a link to somewhere. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can link. You can link things within a document. You could link from within your own website. You could link to somewhere else completely. And in this video, we're going to concentrate on what are known as absolute links. And they point to locations on the internet. So let's do just that. Now, what we're trying to do is sort of follow along with our copied version of the history of the web with what's on Wikipedia. And if we look, let me go to the Wikipedia article, we already see that there's a lot of elements inside of the text over there that are links. And these, let me show you. For example, let's go Vannevar Bush's Memex, and I'm going to look at the source code of this document, and you're going to see a lot of stuff. Let's see. Here we go. Now, exactly what I said, here is a link. It's an anchor, rather. It starts with an A. Now look, here's a, oops, let me go. I kind of messed that up. Let's see. Let's just look at what this looks like inside of the Wikipedia text. They're going to be all over the place. Here we go. Here's the A tag, and then it has this href thing in there, and then somewhere it's closed. Well, if we just look at it from a simple perspective, we have an HTML A tag, and then an A tag closed. What's probably new to us is this attribute that's inside of the A tag that we can add to there. So, well, let's just first start by simply defining a couple of anchors in our content. So let me start with just the first 3 paragraphs over here. So actually, even in the first paragraph, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 different elements or 5 different pieces of text that I can define anchors to. So let's start with actually, here we go. Now let's start with information. So it says global information. So here's information. And what I'm going to do is just simply add A and then close it. That's really the most, that's the anchor tag in its bare bone form. And let's see what happens when I refresh it. Did I save this? Seems that as though I'm not getting the changes. Global information. Let's see. You know, I should know better because if you could see, this seems to be in red over here, and I am not sure why. Let's see. A. Maybe because it's empty. Well, let me make sure about that, because I'm going to look in the code view of my page and make sure. Right. So I did put the A, but the A by itself isn't going to do anything. We need to define an attribute for it for it to even look any different. So the way to do that is once you've put an A over there, right after the A and right before the greater than sign, put a space and do href, hypertext reference, equals And then we'll do 2 quotes. And inside of those quotes are where we put a link to somewhere. Now, here's one way you could start without actually defining the URL for that. Instead of putting a link, just put a £. That's right before right on top of the 3 over there, or a hashtag. And I'm going to save it. And now let me refresh my page. Okay, so now we see that information got a link to it, and when you click it, it acts like a link, but there's nothing actually happening. It's not going anywhere. This is kind of like a dummy link. You could add this stuff in there. It gives you the link functionality, so you saw what I did, just like a visual reference that the link is actually working. But instead of going anywhere, it's just working like a link without actually having to go anywhere. So let me see where this is going in the document. It says information, and it takes us to this page. So in my link, I'm going to want to do that too. So I'm just going to go right here to the URL. Now I'm using a newer version of Firefox, and what I see missing is that it actually hides the http:// portion of the URL. When you define a URL for a link, having this at the beginning is absolutely required. So if you wanted to link to Google, for example, you couldn't just put in www. Well, okay, let me show you what I mean instead of explain it. I'm going to go back here, and what I'm going to do is replace this pound with that text, right? But I still need the quotes, just to be clear. And here we go. And I'll paste that in, and there's the link. So now when I save it, I'm going to go back to my document. I'm going to refresh it. And now when I click this, okay, I'm taken to that page. So let me show you what happens if you don't add that HTTP. In short, it's just not going to work, but let me prove it to you. See, if you take this out and it just goes that way, this is going to be an incorrect link. So when I refresh this, see, it's actually going to file not found. And interesting, look at the URL that it thinks it's trying to go to. See this extension where it says file? This is pointing to a computer on my own desktop. Sorry, this is pointing to a file on my own desktop. If I don't define the HTTP, then it's not going over the internet. It's thinking it's local on the server. So it's important that when you define links, you have the HTTP present, so the browser knows where it needs to go to find the page. Give my document a refresh, and here I am, back in business.